enjoying this your show today.
Very
I
interesting
wasn't
one,
going
isn't it?
to, a very interesting one. I wasn't going to call for your first caller.
Lady Mosu,
Is that her name?
she has
I
so much to say that she just was like rolling around enough that I'm like, you know what? Calm down.
yeah. I mean, do you know what? Right. I think she has some. I think her heart is in a good place. Right. I think her heart is in a good place. But you see, what riles me is when somebody tries to tell me that there's any good in Tinubu. I just can't,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I, I can't compute. I'm like, Tinubu, Baba Tinubu, wait. No, no, no.
Yeah, it's that
That man is.
sentiment. You see, Charm, you see that sentiment where a lot of us knows that this fake contraption, right, is a false country, right, where many have been saying the northern Nigeria that love to control power. Okay, the moment they are out of power, right, they get exposed. That every effort anybody makes to try to want to right do anything different to their status quo, they will fight back. And to some
See,
people, right, if Tinubu's action will rile them, okay, uh, even if you don't like him, you want him to do it and see, let them do
um,
their worst, kind of. You know, that sentiment is
yeah,
always
I
there.
mean,
Mhm.
I understand that sentiment and I actually appreciate it, but let us not make him a saint because we kind of like we are trying to get at something, right? We all want to be kind of like uncoupled from this contraption,
Yeah.
right? Because I understand what you're saying. It seems like you have the Fulanis who seem to be able to get away with any and everything, murder included, right?
Mhm.
And then it also seems like we are their subjects, right? But they pretend that we are one Nigeria when we know actually we're not one Nigeria, right? There's not even a country called Nigeria to start off with. When you think about it realistically, it's not a real place because none of us, none of our forebears agreed to this contraption. Nobody said, okay, this is how we are going to be one and call ourselves this. This was something that was put together and then given to said Fulanis by the Western, the Western allies, basically, right? So I think for me, I just took, like, let's not say this man is part of the problem that we have. And I think the reason why I even want to call it out is because I see the end of Nigeria, right? Whether or not it's something that happens organically or something that is forced to happen because every other country around us is kind of like going through their own awakening, so to speak. Look at
Right now.
Congo, you know. All of a sudden it's erupting there. We don't know the end of what is going to happen in Congo, but I'm very happy for Congo because I feel like that is one of the countries that have really suffered. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Really suffered the colonial from the colonial masters, from even what is going on today. That is a country that the people have suffered, and lots of people have died to the and nobody talks about it. Millions of Congolese people have died from time immemorial, and no one has spoken about it. Historically, it's not even there. The only people that remember it are we Africans that know exactly what they've been through. So it's
Anyways,
either
from the time of King Leopold to the time they
yes,
had
from the time
they had to kill
and we're
Patrice Lumumba and on and on.
Patrice Lumumba, and everything. So, and when we're talking about people, the Congolese, we're talking about people in their millions that were
We're
killed,
talking about millions. That's right.
millions of Congolese people that were killed, even till today. Children being killed and raped and murdered, all of that is still going on in Congo, right? And they're one of the richest, the countries with the richest minerals in the whole world. There are
Yes.
even minerals that nobody even knows any idea what to do with, and they're there. Do you understand? Where the world hasn't even advanced to the point of knowing what to do with those minerals, you have it in Congo.
That's right.
Do you understand? So I'm happy that those kind of awakenings, and I feel like if Nigeria doesn't get its act together, or if this entity, this geographical expression does not get its act together, eventually we will be swept with that whole, awakening that is going on with the Sahel countries, with Congo and all of that. And then when people are talking about, you say, I hate this, let's wait for 2027. If you wait for 2027, right, you will still have, what is his name? going to be your president, whether you like it or not. Just like Delefaro to me has been saying, that we need to start pushing for reforms, electoral reforms, the removal of what's the name of this the person who is currently the INEC chairman.
That's Mahmoud
The remove,
guy. Yeah, that guy.
yes, the Mahmoud guy. So this is what we should be talking about. This is not coming on Maego's platform to ask Maego what are we supposed to do. All of us are suffering it.
All of us.
Whether we want to agree or not, whether we want to appreciate that we are all suffering it together, diaspora and those, all of us who are in Nigeria as well, do you understand? We're all going through it. So if we're waiting for 2027, the time is now to actually start making that push for, getting rid of this man and getting rid of Tinubu as far as I'm concerned. Because even all of this, he's going to do this regional, whatever government. Nobody said that. Sometimes something might just even be smoke screen. Let's get them talking. Let's divert their attention from the things that we really want to do. Let's just give them this crumbs. Let's talking about it and hoping, that somehow something is going to happen. We still forget that Tinubu is a CIA asset. Yes. That hasn't remained. That hasn't changed. He hasn't stopped being an asset. He is still a CIA asset. So whatever the CIA wants him to do, that is what he's going to do. Now, if it is in the best interest of said CIA for us to remain the way we are, forget about regional government. It's not going to happen, because again, when you have those regional autonomies, you don't know what is going to give birth to.
Well, even if you want to have any form of government, right? People needs to be involved. Any form of changes that is to take place, and the people are not the decider. If somebody is making a plan, like Tinubu and his gang are doing, everybody must understand that it is not in your interest. Any decision that is not that you are not involved, like a sovereign national conference, for example, where people have to actually agree that they still want to remain together under this arrangement.
You know what?
Some people will write and push. Exactly. Like it's going to go against the people we don't like. Then you know what? I don't like Tinubu, right? But me, I like what he's trying to do. You are being played. That's the point. You are being played. That's another thing I want to say. And finally, because I know other people want to call. Mm-hmm. You see, when I was listening to you, and I was they had the show where people singing slowly, and all of that business. I was just saying to myself, what kind of democracy, what kind of governance has turned powerful people into singers and dancers? For goodness sake, what kind of who told us that this stupid democracy that they stole to us is actually for us a democracy that ties your hand at the back, that you as a whole man, you can't do nothing but to march and sing solidarity forever? For goodness sake, when you came into this world, you have the inalienable right. How come that America that practices democracy, that's where you are, right? I have seen you guys involved in like thousands of different protests. How come they know they sing soli in America? By the way, have you ever heard it in any of the gatherings in the US?
I've never heard it in any of the gatherings in the US. Let me tell you, I've come to. I'm at that point, right? And I say thanks to your platform. I'm at that point where I'm giving democracy as a whole the side eye, because I just don't even think that it gives people the power that they have been born with to pursue the happiness, to look for things and do things, to move in a way that you're not really dependent on the government to tell you to move, because you have the right to do so. Look at us, we're all holding our hands, slowly. There is going to change anything. You're not going to change anything. For God's sake. People like Yes Weekend have to understand that you can't just get up there and treat the rest of us like sheep because you're some glorified shepherd. No, you're not a glorified shepherd. And we're supposed to tell you, enough is enough. Get out of there. We don't need you anymore. Now, until we have that kind of so-called democracy or governance style where the people in power understand that we are not your subjects.
No.
Okay? We are not beholden to you.
No.
You will leave when you displease us. When we get to that, that's the kind of democracy that we need to be getting to. That's the kind of governance style we need to get to. And bottom line is, we're not going to get that with any of the things that we're doing here. I love Obi, and you know that. I love Obi. But I've told you here on this platform that Obi needs to start talking about, breaking up the country, or people coming together to agree whether or not to continue
Maybe that's a tough call for him, but I want him to actually genuinely, right, considering the fact that he's a one Nigerianist, right? Let's give that to him. He's a one Nigerianist. But I want to see some level of advocacy on his part, right? That includes, right, calling out the entire system that is rigged before any election.
Absolutely.
You get that now?
Absolutely.
Demand for a new constitution. Make it obvious. Demand for electoral reform and the dissolution of this electoral body. That's not too
absolutely. Don't let people demand for it. Let people understand.
Without these things,
say it loud and clear. Let people know that this is where you are going, and that if you enter power, this is what you're going to do. We're not going to carry on with this stupid constitution, and we're not going to carry on in a country where the North is owning them.
Let the establishment know.
Yes, exactly. Let the establishment know that this is what you're going to do. That's one of my grasp with him. Let the Northerners that own oil wells in the South, Southeast, South, understand that when I become president, you're not going to have that anymore. So if you don't like
let the people control their resources. I will push for that.
Let the people control their resources. Let every region control their resources. You know, when you start talking like that, that is what I'm looking for.
They won't.
Okay?
They won't do that. That would be like too much. It would be like me and you. And they said that won't win him an election. So you know what?
But we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to.
And that's
and I think that's the whole point. We're not here to win elections. We're here to change the country. This contraption, whatever this is, can't continue. And in fact, its time is up. And I think is that its time is up is what is manifesting that you're seeing, up and down the whole place. Let me let other people come.
I appreciate this. Okay, you stay safe there over there, ma'am. So indeed, we are not politicians, and of course, the way Mia will talk, Peter Obi won't talk like that. The way Showore will talk, Obi won't talk like that. Because somehow, right, you still have to be a little bit cunning. If you are very blunt, the way we are talking, automatically they will consider that you are not electable. Being honest, being straightforward is something that is a big virtue, so to say, that a Nigerian typical politician or anybody that professes one Nigeria always distance themselves from. You still have to be deceitful to some extent. And I'm not for that, okay? Here, hello.
Hello.
Baba.
I actually didn't even expect my call to be picked up.
Oh,
well,
okay.
I just wanted to make a quick comment on the last caller. No offense though.
Right.
The more I watch this program, the more I realize that, see, the older generation, they will never change. Even when you look at that Obasa video, look at all the people that were surrounding him. Are they not old people?
Yeah.
The older generation, you're calling, you give a nice speech, and then you ended with, this is what you to hear Obi speech saying, or you want to, like, how old are you? Like, grow up, be realistic. These people don't care about you. Maybe you think you're from the same tribe, and it will be like, because you are like that, you are expecting Obi to also be. He's a human being. Doesn't matter what tribe the person comes from, doesn't matter what religion the person comes from. They are going to mess you over, they will mess you over. All things that you are expecting him to say, it doesn't favor him, and it's all about personal interest. Politics is a game of personal interest. So how does your speech that you're expecting from Obi, how do you expect it to favor him? He never benefited from a good system. All he benefited was from a corrupt system. But at this age in time, in 2025, you are still mentioning this guy's name and you're expecting him to save you. This guy's not going to do all that. Even if he promises all that, look at, he's smiling at the people that slaughtered your people. He smiles with them. He takes pictures with them. You are still pushing this guy's name. Nigeria is not going to change with this current generation. I'm telling you. So all this current generation is gone because they are, in my opinion, they are majority of the problem in this country. They are the ones that vote. They are the ones that still push bad people. Do you want a non-corrupt country, or do you want a partially corrupt country? Which one do you want? You have to make up your mind. If you still want partially corrupt, you are still talking about Obi, then you are not saving anybody anything. All it's going to become is less corrupt and eventually more corrupt after, because they will never stop. If you are not going to lock these people up, stop wasting our time. If you are not going to clean the whole space up, stop wasting everybody's time. And it's only Gen Z that knows the difference between good people and bad people. They don't want anything in between. This older generation, they still want somebody that is no any in between. This older generation, they still want, 50% corrupt, 50% good. You are wasting your time. You are just wasting your time. Is that what you enjoy outside your country? Is it 50-50? You know that. But lucky, deep down, you still want to favor yourself. You still want to favor the person you like. You still want to. The person you like may not be. Is not always going to be the person that will help you at the end of the day. It's not the person that is going to free you at the end of the day. So, at the end of the day, you can't change. What's this thing? You can't teach your old dog new tricks, and that's just the sad. That's just the sad part. It's going to happen for as long as there's no military.
Okay, I mean, let me put this based on what you've said now, Solo Baba. See, we seems to, you and the last caller seems to be on the same pedestal, right? Put it this way. The last caller was talking about what is expected, something that can actually make people like them feel like, okay, maybe there's a chance. If you are talking, if you are saying things like this, right? Like this and that,
yes.
You too, you are on that same pedestal of, there's something you expected him to say or stop wasting our time. For example, right?
Yes.
The last caller was like, hang on one sec, right? The last caller was like, speak on this constitution, speak on this electoral reform, speak on the dissolution of this and that. You want him to speak on what he's going to do. There's no 50-50. We are going to deal with criminals. We are going to deal with thieves, and we're going to stop it. Rather than just be like, 50-50. So you're almost on the same pedestal. There's still an expectation here.
Yes.
But your conclusion is that the older generation are so neck deep in the rot. They are product of the rot. And nobody should expect them to do anything, right?
And they have more exposure. The younger generation have already accepted it for what it is. The older generation at this age, in this year, with as much information as you are getting, you should know he would never. It's not a question of maybe. You should know at this point that is not going to say it. So why do you still have hope there? And this is the problem. We still have hope in corrupt people. We still have hope in thieves. We still have hope in crooks.
It's a case of the lesser the evil, like the devil and the deep blue sea, kind of. Yeah.
It will never work for Nigerians. We know who we are. It will never work. We all know each other. Forget all these smoke and mirrors. We know each other. Small corruption will never work for us. Somebody will still blow it up and still mess up the whole place. So
a working system, brother. Anyway, thank you so much, Solo. All right. Let me take another one again, because people always have their own angle and perspective to every issue, right? You stay safe as usual, okay? Thank you so much, Baba. Okay. So here is another caller, and here is Prince Adebayo from Sweden. You are midway today. How you doing, Prince?
My king, I'm very, very good. I'm very, very good.
Fantastic.
Very, very good.
It seems to be like a very, very heated room tonight. So you want to add to the temperature, or you want to cool it?
Yeah, I want to cool it because
okay, go for
because
it.
I believe every speaker has a point, But today I just want to make mention of my observation, which is something we all need to ponder upon.
Right.
When you played the Peter Obi video, one thing I got from the video was that statement he made that the people that are coming to form coalition, are they coming to grab power, or they are coming to come and change the paradigm? Because Ilukidaru.
You get, and moreover, even in my presentation, I said what I suspected then from what prompted him to have said that, was because He has sat with them. He's met with them. They've chatted. And maybe what he kind of deduced from what most of them are saying is that they are more interested in grabbing power than addressing the issue of the country per se.
Yes.
The imbalance. Yes. That's why I said I don't want to be a part of any coalition that is about grabbing power.
Exactly.